Welcome to the Instagram Stories for Monday, November 17th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. On Mondays, we break down what the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, talked about on his recent Ask Me Anything. But before we do that, I want to mention another topic. Every year around this time, I do a survey. And this is where I ask you who have been kind enough to listen to this show what you think of it, what platforms you're most interested in hearing about, how you listen, and what I can do to make this show better. To show my appreciation for you taking the time to fill out this survey and give feedback on how I can improve the show, I will be giving a $20 Amazon gift card to the first 10 people who fill out this survey. If you want to get to the survey, you can go to the link in the show notes, or you can go to my Instagram bio at Daniel Hill Media, and you can find the link there where you can go to take the survey. Thank you for your time and your listening to this show and giving me feedback so that I can improve things. That is ultimately my goal. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the head of Instagram is going to answer questions like, why do brand deals get less reach? And does posting too frequently hurt reach? All of that and more on today's episode. But first, a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back. We're diving into the questions and answers with Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, and let's start with all the questions that have to do with reach. First, does posting too frequently hurt your reach? This is an interesting one. I would say that yes, it can if you have a small group of followers and those followers are tired of your content. I think that can happen. However, using trial reels would be a great way because you could post very frequently to that. You won't annoy your current followers, and people who could potentially be interested in your content may see it. Here's Adam's answer to the question.
Contrary to popular belief, posting too frequently does not hurt your reach. Sometimes people find that when they post, they see their followership go down. That's because sometimes when you post, people will see your post, they'll remember that they followed you, and some subset will unfortunately decide to unfollow you. But overall, we see that it grows your followers and your reach to post more for most people because more at bats, more chances for more people to see your stuff and decide they want to follow you or check you out in the future. That said, I'm not pushing you to post every day or 3 times a day. You should figure out what is sustainable for you. I've seen really successful creators that post only once a month, and I've seen really successful creators who post a ton, like 5 times a day. You have to find something that works for you and your goals and your life, and make sure that you don't sign up for more than you can really handle over the long run.
I agree with what he said. Burnout is real. Let's go on to the next question. Why do brand deals get less reach? I think it can seem like brand deals, if you do a partnership with a brand and you create a piece of content, it can feel like that gets less reach in comparison to your normal posts, especially if your normal posts are more entertaining. And this one is a little bit more informative, and people can tell that there's an ulterior motive behind that post. Here's Adam's answer to why do brand deals get less reach?
They don't always get less reach. We don't do anything to try to boost or demote content that is paid for by a brand. We don't actually necessarily even know. We have a tool to allow you to tell us, because in a lot of countries it's important and even required by law to disclose when something was actually a paid ad. But if you're seeing those posts do less well, it might be that your followers are a little bit less interested in them. So I would think about how you can post content that, yes, promotes the brand or the product you're being paid to promote, but also does so in a way that is still engaging to your audience. Because sometimes when creators don't take the time to figure that out, they end up with less engaging content.
You know what? I'm going to say that Adam did a better job answering that question than I did. Hats off to you, Adam. Let's go on to the next reach question. Does length of carousel impact reach? So this person is asking if a carousel has 5 slides or 10 slides, does that impact the reach? Carousels are really good because Instagram does show them to people multiple times with different slides each time. Here's Adam's answer to the question about whether or not length of carousel impacts reach.
I don't think so, not really. I mean, it might help on average because if there's more things to look at, maybe it's more likely that someone likes or comments or shares something. But my guess is that it's a relatively small effect. I'd have to triple check. But I would just try to post as many things as you feel like makes sense for the story you're trying to tell.
Okay, let's go on to the next reach question. If I invite a collaborator on a reel and they don't accept, will I get less reach? Well, this is a good question. You will get less reach because had the person accepted that collaboration request, that post would be shown to their followers. Since they didn't, you're missing out on that reach on that side of things. However, it doesn't impact the reach of your own followers in any way. Here's Adam's answer to the question.
If you invite someone to be a collaborator on a reel and they don't accept, you will get the same amount of reach as if you didn't invite them, and you'll get less reach than if they had accepted.
Okay, the last question we're going to do about reach: do hashtags hurt or just not help anymore? Here's Adam's answer.
Using hashtags is not going to hurt your reach. It just doesn't really help it.
Okay, now let's move on to a question that's going to get me really riled up. I'm going to save my riled up answer for after Adam goes. The question: when will creators get ad income from our content? Fantastic question. YouTube can do it. Why can't Instagram?
So the primary way that creators get paid for their content on the platform is getting paid by brands off of the platform. But I think you're asking about Instagram paying creators directly. We are trying to do this and experimenting with different ways to do it, but we have been struggling to find a way that's sustainable. What we find often is that if we pay creators to create more content, particularly Reels, they do create more content, but not much more, and it's not as good as the content that they posted before. And we don't then see an increase in overall usage of Instagram and revenue that is enough to make up for the cost of paying creators in the first place. So we end up just burning money, essentially. I'd be happy to scale up the program so it would even just break even. But for Reels particularly, we haven't found a path to do that. There's lots of people posting lots of content right now, which is great, but it means the incremental value of more content is not as big as you might expect. So not until it's sustainable, unfortunately.
Okay, so what he's saying is it doesn't make financial sense to pay people because we've all been creating content for free for them for so long that it doesn't make sense to change that. Just by way of comparison, Instagram generated an estimated $66 billion in ad revenue in 2024 alone, accounting for almost 40% of Facebook's total revenue. Okay, I said we were going to do a comparison. YouTube pays out 55% of ad revenue to creators and keeps 45%. They've managed to make that a workable business model, so it's not impossible. YouTube paid out approximately $36.2 billion in 2024 to creators. So think about that. YouTube is successfully able to pay creators for their efforts to make videos, and Instagram says it's not really worth it. Something is fundamentally broken here, and I haven't seen anybody speaking up loudly about this issue, but if you know someone who is, please tell me. I would like to get in touch with them, have them on the show, deep dive into this topic, because I do think this really matters, and it makes me more interested in creating content for YouTube and less interested in creating content for Instagram going forward. Okay, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into some feature suggestions for Instagram. We're going to talk about some features of the app that you might not know you could do and more. Stick around. Welcome back. Continuing with the questions and answers from the head of Instagram. And now let's talk about some of the features of the Instagram app that you might not know about. First, if you are not aware, you can pin comments on a post, meaning if someone makes a really good comment or starts a discussion, you can pin that to the top, and when people tap on the comments, they will see that comment at the top. The question: how many comments can I pin on a post? I thought it was 3, it's actually 2. I was wrong.
You can pin up to 2 comments on any post you make on Instagram. Those will show up at the top of the comment list for anybody who sees that photo carousel.
Okay, let's move on to the next feature you might not know about. Can I block specific words in my comments? Yes, you can. It is called hidden words. They actually first implemented this feature because Taylor Swift was getting so much hate from Kanye West and Kim Kardashian fans writing the snake emoji on her posts that Instagram made the ability for words to be blocked, including emojis, and so you wouldn't see them in your comments or your DMs. Here's the head of Instagram to explain.
You can. One of my favorite features that people don't always know about is called hidden words. There's hidden words for DMs, for comments, and even for your feed. So if you go into your settings and you go to the section called, I think, Content You See, you should be able to see that option there. And you can actually pick specific words to block from your comments, which is really helpful if you're getting harassed or brigaded around a specific subject, which does happen, unfortunately, from time to time.
Okay, let's move on to the part of the show where people ask questions about certain features and whether or not those features are ever going to be released, or could the feature be changed to work in a certain way. The first one, would love to be able to schedule polls with scheduled reels. I actually didn't realize this wasn't possible.
Oh, that's interesting. Can you not schedule a reel that has a poll on it? I will double check. I thought you could do that, but I'll talk to the team and figure out what's going on.
Oh, terrible audio on that one. Don't know who was shouting in the background. The next question has to do with linked reels. Linked reels are really interesting if you are doing, like, for instance, a video that has a part 1 and a part 2. And the question is, for linked reels, could we get the option to add linked reels after a video has been posted? Good news, this already exists.
You actually can link a reel after you've already posted it. So once you posted it, go to the ... on the top right, once you're in the Reels viewer. And if you scroll down, I know there's a lot of options there. One of them is link a reel.
Okay, the next question. Why do you keep changing the size of Instagram pictures? I have seen some posts about this recently, and I didn't cover it on the show because, number one, I didn't really think it was a big deal. And number two, Instagram didn't actually come out and say that anything changed, according to anything that I could read or find. Here's Adam's answer.
I don't think we keep changing these. On the profile, we went from squares to portrait mode. Got a lot of angry comments about that. I know it's hard when things change, but most content on Instagram at this point is vertical. So you're overcropping, so I still stand by that one. But maybe you're talking about something else. Maybe it's the feed format size that it's changed. I'll double check, but not looking to overchange things. Looking to evolve slowly and carefully as the world evolves.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there because this episode is getting very long, but there's actually a couple of good questions that I do want to feature, and I will talk about them on future episodes of the show. Like, for instance, if the grid ranking feature is still going to be released, and why certain profiles have options that other profiles don't. Meaning you have an account that has some feature, you really like that feature, you want to use it on a different account, you don't have it on the different account. I'll answer that in a subsequent episode of the show. That's it for today's episode. If you have a moment, please fill out the survey for how to make this show better. I would love to hear your thoughts on how I can improve. You can find the link to fill out the survey in my Instagram bio or directly in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and come back next time for more social media news, strategy, and other things you should know.
Let's get it. The year was 2013. You posted your first pic and you're glad your post got seen. Your friends liked it too, but what you didn't know is what posting on that platform would do. Taking all your time and attention, doom scrolling. Also, let me mention, you gotta post on every platform, putting content on every set just to conform. Likes gave you validation and you got hooked. Now engagement is down, you feeling overlooked. Hey, keep coming back for more podcasts. And find me on Instagram at Daniel Hill Media. I'm gone.